Good start. All right, it's Monday. We've made it through another week. So let's start by sitting up in a comfortable position. Okay, lengthening your spine, sitting up tall. You can close your eyes to start. Let's take 3 centering breaths together. So let's breathe in through the nose. Feel your chest expand and your shoulders rise. And then long breath out. Controlled. Like you're blowing out a big birthday cake. Lots of candles. Okay, number 2, let's breathe in through the nose. And once again, long breath out. Feel your shoulders sink back down as you breathe out. All right, last big breath in. Sit up a little bit taller here. And settle into your foundation as you breathe out. So normal breathing pattern. Let's relax our whole body, top to bottom, as we usually do. So start with the crown of your head, down to your forehead. You iron out any wrinkles you might have. Soften your eyelids. Relax your cheeks and your jaw. Take a moment here and notice where your breath feels strongest. Whether that's the air as it hits your nostrils, or the air as it exits your lips. And then relaxing your neck, noticing that holds up your head. Maybe wiggle your head around for a moment or two. Okay, let's go down to the shoulders. Then let's breathe into our arms. Okay, biceps, triceps, down to your elbows and your forearms. Let's pay attention to where your hands are, whether they're clasped gently in your lap. Maybe they're resting on your knees like mine are. Okay, it doesn't matter where they are, just relaxing the arms and the hands. Working our way back to our torso, feeling your chest expand and contract as you breathe. And then give me a nice big belly breath. And let it contract as you breathe out. Down to the lower half of our body. Maybe you're sitting cross-legged. Notice how your bottom feels against your mat. Down to your quads and your hamstrings. And notice how your calves feel against your feet. Then your feet against your mat. And just noticing your whole body here. Sit here for the next 30 seconds or so. I just want you to breathe. See how the whole body feels. And let's take one last deep breath in and then hold your breath at the top. And then as you hear the singing bowl, exhale, open up your eyes. I'm gonna hop out my block. Okay, Let's open up our eyes, readjust to the light. Let's turn clockwise. Let's twist our spines. Press your left palm into your right knee. Press the right palm into the floor behind you. And maybe get blinded by the sun because it's up so early now. And then let's gently unwind, come back to center. And let's twist to the left. Press your right palm into your left knee. Okay, getting blinded by the sun on the other side now. Okay, with each exhale, twist a little bit further. Look back further behind you. Let's come back to center. All right, let's get our side. So let's take both arms, both hands, gently reach up towards the ceiling. Let's start on the left. So plant your left palm on the mat. Reach over your body with your right arm. And then reach for the upper left-hand corner of the room. And feel your stretch go down your left side to your hip. Okay, let's keep the right sit bone planted. Okay, reaching, reaching, reaching. Let's reach back for the ceiling with the left hand. And come down on the right. Okay, starting with that right palm being planted. Reaching for the upper right hand corner of the room. You can come down your right forearm, great. But if you can't, don't worry about it. All right, let's bring that right hand back up to the top. And then bring the hands to heart center. You breathe out. All right, let's get those inner thighs. So bring the soles of your feet together in front of you. Bring your heels in towards your soft tissue. Let the knees drop down. And then lean forward like a hinge. Okay, try to bring your navel towards your heels or towards your toes. And as you do so, let your knees drop down and feel those inner thighs stretch out. All right, and then take a deep breath in. And then reach your arms forward in front of you, rounding out your back. Okay, letting the knees drop a little bit further here. Ooh. Letting those inner thighs stretch out even further. Gently sit up. Ooh. All right, now let's stand up. Let's get those hamstrings. Ooh. Okay, nice wide stance, toes facing forward. Reach up for the ceiling. And then swan dive gently forward as we come all the way down. Okay, feel free to support yourself with your palms or fingertips on the floor, looking towards the back of the room. We begin to open up our hamstrings. All right, you can stay here, but if you want to take it to stage 2, let's clasp your fingers behind you or behind your lower back, and then reach your fingers towards the front of the room or towards the ceiling, having a shoulder stretch while stretching out the hamstrings, letting the head drop down a little bit further towards the ground. Okay, and then let's release the hands back down to the ground. Let's start by planting the right palm on the floor and then rotate your left hand towards the ceiling, opening up your chest and the left shoulder. Ooh. And you might even press your right palm into the floor towards the right, opening up the chest a little bit more. And let's return the left arm back down, swap palms. Now the left palm is planted, right fingertips are reaching for the ceiling. We're opening up the right shoulder. Okay, the hamstrings are starting to feel a little bit looser, hopefully. And then let's bring the right arm back down to the ground. Okay, letting the torso and arms just dangle for a moment here. Really getting deeper into that hamstring stretch. Okay, and a slow 10 count. We're going to straighten up our body. So let the arms and the head dangle here. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Hamstrings are feeling pretty happy. You can stand up in a regular way. Let's do a standing side stretch. So we can bring our feet together, or if you don't want to add the balance, you can keep them a little bit further apart, up to you. But standing up nice and tall, let's raise the arms up. Give me a little reach for the ceiling. And then let's start on the right side. So drop the right arm down to your right side. Kick out that left hip. Okay, turn the eyes upward as you reach with that left arm. Okay, it should feel pretty similar to the sitting version we did earlier, except now we're standing. Have a little bit of balance, but you should feel the stretch start from your fingertips and work its way down to your hip. And then let's bring that right arm back up, looking towards the ceiling. And then let's drop the left arm down, kicking out the right hip. Ooh, this side feels a little stiffer for me. I toppled over my bike on Saturday, going very slowly, and it was on dirt, so it was fine. Bike is less fine, but so it goes. All right, let's bring that left arm back up to the top. Give me a little reach for the ceiling. And then let's return the hands to heart center. Keep them there. We're going to do Malasana next. So medium width stance, toes facing out about 45 degrees. And then keeping the head and chest up, lower yourself down to the earth, down to your mat, down to the ground, however you want to think about it. All right, return of the inner thighs. Ooh. We're going to hold it here for a few breaths. Maybe you want to rock side to side if that feels good for you. If you want to push on your knees with your elbows, also an option. All right. Now I'm going to put my hands on my legs just to support. And then gently push yourself up. Hello. Whew. All right, let's get our, what's it called, our hip flexor. So I'm going to come down on my right knee. Okay. Your left foot's planted in front of you. Okay, you want 90 degrees at your ankles and your knees. Okay, you might already feel it if you're tight, but rotate your hips forward. You should feel your right hip flexor stretch out. If you want to go for the bonus pull from the top, reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Ooh. incredible. Hold it for a little bit longer. All right. Your right arm is up in the air. Let's drop it back down. And then just switch legs. So you're on your left knee, or left knee is underneath your hip. Your right foot's planted in front of you. Rotate your hip forward. Okay, once again, if you want to add the left arm here, feel free to do so. And remember, when we're holding a pose or holding a stretch, don't forget to breathe. It's just like all the other times in your life, just breathe. Let's drop the left arm down, and we can stand back up. And let's get our hamstrings once again. You'll know I love a good hamstring stretch. So we're gonna do a split leg hamstring stretch. Left leg is in front, heels are in line, and your left toes are facing forward. Bring the arms back up, and then swan dive over that straight left leg. Okay. Keeping your left leg straight, drive your right hip towards the front ankle. Get out of the pose. Bend your left knee and then gently come up. Okay, and then I'm just going to pivot around 180 degrees. Okay, now my right toes are facing forward, my heels are in line. Let's bring the arms up. And then let's swan dive over the straight right leg. Okay, I'm going to use my block on this side, but you can support yourself either hands on your shins, hands on your knees, hands on the ground. Find the position that works best for you. And then drive that left hip towards the front ankle. All right, get a little bit deeper in that stretch, and then bend the right knee. Come on out. Oh, very nice. Let's get some neck stretches, shall we? So let's grab your left wrist behind your back with your right hand. Make a nice chicken wing on the right side. And then drop your head towards your right shoulder. Feel the stretch in the left side of your neck. And then rotate your head back as you look up. And notice how the stretch moves towards the front of your neck. Then let's roll the head forward and look down. All right, and then bring your head back to the center position, and then back up top, and then let's switch sides. So grabbing our right wrist behind our back, making a chicken wing on the left. Let's drop your head to the left shoulder. Oof. Wow, this side feels tight. Okay, I'm holding this one because it feels good, but let's roll the head gently forward. And let's roll it back, looking up. Ooh. All right, and then back to the center position, and then back up top. Ooh. All right, last static stretches for now. So let's do left arm across top of our chest, just warming up the shoulders before we do some sun salutations. All right, let's swap. So Right arm across the top of our chest. Ooh. Then let's get our triceps next. So left arm behind the head, pull on the left elbow. Okay, let's get the right arm behind the head, pull on that right elbow. All right, then let's release the right elbow. And then let's start some moving options. Like come to your front of your mat. Okay, stand up nice and tall, feet together. Let's bring the arms up top. Let's do 2 warm-up swan dives. So swan dive forward. Okay, controlling it all the way down. Then come up to flat back, resting the hands on the shins or the knees. And then rounding out your back a little bit deeper, and then eyes up, head up, reverse swan dive. Okay, until your hands are back up at the top. 1, and then swan dive down. Come up to flat back. Okay, breathing out, rounding out the back, reverse swan dive. And then let's get going. So swan dive for a 3rd time now. Those hamstrings are feeling pretty happy, pretty open. Up to flat back. And then as you breathe out here, round out your back and plant both palms of the mat. Step back to plank. And then let's chaturanga down into an upward dog. Let's hold this first upward dog. Okay, palms are pushing the floor away. You can be on the tops of your feet, or should be on the tops of your feet. Let's go back to plank position. Add a push up here if you'd like. And into our first downward dog of the day, of the morning, of the week. Okay, fingertips are nice and spread. Push the floor away in front of you. Okay, let's focus on just our calves. So bend the left knee and drive the right heel down. Then swap sides, bending the right knee, driving the left heel down to the mat. Okay. Let's go back to just the right side. If you want to add a little bonus, you can even place your left foot on your right heel. And a little pressure, but completely optional. Do it if it feels good. Let's come back to the left side. Ooh. All right, let's come to the neutral downward dog. So both feet are planted. Let's add a sun salutation. So step your feet towards your hands, and then reverse swan dive. Hands are at the top. Swan dive down. Up to flat back. And then rounding at the back, planting both palms, returning to a plank position. And then chaturanga down into an upward dog. Whew. Back to plank, push up if you like, and into downward dog briefly. And then we're going to start with our left side. We're going to go crescent pose. So bring the feet together behind you. Let's float the left leg up into the air. And then swing the left leg forward and plant it in front. Bring your arms and torso up. Okay, that right heel is off the ground, but reaching for the mat. Left knee is tracking over the left ankle. We're saying hello to the right hip flexor once again. Let's do a prayer twist from here. So bring your hands to heart center and then position the right elbow on the left knee or the left quad. Hands are stacked. Left elbow is facing the ceiling. Whew. Settle with the breath for a moment. Okay, and then let's return to our crescent pose. Reach for the ceiling with those arms. And then as you breathe out, let's bring the arms and torso back down to the mat. Plant both palms. Left leg comes back to plank, and let's chaturanga down into an upward dog. Okay, add the sun salutation, so back to plank, and then step the feet towards the hands and reverse swan dive. Hands are at the top. Swan dive down. Ooh. Up to flat back. Breathing out, rounding out the back. Plant both palms, stepping back to plank. Let's chaturanga down into an upward dog. Okay, back to plank. Push up here if you like. Returning to downward dog. And then let's hit the right side. So feet and legs together. Float the right leg up into the air. Swing the right leg forward and plant it in front. I'm going to crescent pose on the right. And that left heel is reaching for the mat while your arms and hands are reaching for the ceiling. Okay. Left hip flexor is opening up. Let's bring the hands together at heart center and then transition into prayer twist on the right. Gently pressing the left elbow into the right knee. Okay. Hands are pressed together. Right elbow is facing the ceiling. Maybe you're looking at something stationary to anchor your gaze. Focus on your balance while you're stretching. Feels great. That's why we're here. And then let's gently exit back into our crescent pose. Reach for the ceiling. And then as you breathe out, bring the arms and torso back down. Plant both palms. That right leg comes back to plank. Let's chaturanga down. Do an upward dog. Back to plank. Push up here if you like. And into downward dog. Okay, everyone stay there for just a moment. Need some water. There we go. All right, we're in downward dog. Let's do our warrior sequence. So we're back to the left. So let's go feet and legs together. Float the left leg up into the air. And let's swing it on through and plant that left leg in front. And then let's go to warrior one. So as your arms and torso come up, your back heel comes down. Front knee is tracking over the front ankle for warrior one. Settle with the breath. And let's go arms front and back for warrior two. So your left arm is out in front. Palms and arms are parallel to the ground, turning the chin forward. All right, let's go to reverse warrior. So gently press your right palm into your right leg. Left fingertips are reaching for the wall behind you. And then let's return to warrior two. And let's do a twisting triangle pose this week. So put your left hand on your left side or your lumbar spine. Take that right arm and reach it forward, 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 forward. When you can't reach anymore, drop the right arm down to the ground. Left arm reaches up. This variation always gets me. Okay, if you don't want to reach for the ceiling, you can also reach towards the short side of your mat overhead. Whatever feels good. All right, and let's pop back into warrior two. Let's dip back into reverse warrior. Oh. Back to warrior two. Sorry for the groaning. Let's swing that right arm forward and up for warrior one. And then as your arms come down, that back heel comes up, plant both palms. Left leg comes back to plank. And let's chaturanga down into an upward dog. Okay, back to plank. Let's do the sun salutation. Step the feet towards the hands. And then reverse swan dive. Hands are at the top. Swan dive down. Up to flat back. Exhale, rounding out the back, planting both palms. Step back to a plank position. Then chaturanga down into an upward dog. Back to plank, push up here and into downward dog. Okay, rinse and repeat for the right. So feet together, right heel goes up in the air. And then let's swing that right leg through and plant it in front. Come to warrior one on the right. Okay. Front knee is tracking over front ankle. Arms are reaching for the ceiling. Okay, let's go to warrior two. Arms front and back. Dipping back into reverse warrior now. Right fingertips are reaching for that back wall. And then back to warrior two. Okay, remember we're going to do the twisting triangle pose. So put your right hand on your right side. Reach forward with your left arm, left fingertips. And then drop that left palm or left fingertips towards the ground. Right arm reaches for the ceiling. See if you can open up your right shoulder and turn your chin up towards the ceiling. We're twisting triangle pose. All right, let's return to warrior two. Arms front and back. Dipping back into reverse warrior. And then back to warrior two. Swing that left arm forward and up for warrior one. And let's bring everything back down. Back heel comes up, plant both palms. Right leg comes back to plank, and let's chaturanga down. Upward dog. Back to plank. Step the feet towards the hand. And then reverse swan dive. Hands are at the top. Swan dive back down. Up to flat back. Okay, round at the back, plant both palms. Returning into a plank position. Let's chaturanga down to an upward dog. Okay, back to plank, push up here. Turning to our downward dog. Ooh. Ooh. Let's hold it for a couple breaths. All right, and then let's step the feet towards the hands and come to chair pose. So feet together, knees together, bring the arms up and give me a straight line from your bottom through your hips and torso through to the arms, palms facing one another. Don't let the elbows flare out. Breathing. All right, and keeping your arms and torso in a line, gently straighten up your body. Let's get off your heels. Okay, reach for the ceiling here. Reach, 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 reach. Feel those calves stabilize. Notice how your housemates wear pajamas out of the house. It's weird.
It's pajama day.
It's pajama day at school. Let's lower the heels back down. Bring the hands to heart center. And let's do twisting chair pose to the right. So let's press the left elbow into the right knee. Okay.
I always thought pajama day was weird. I'm just gonna say that. Okay, on the recording for the internet, I never enjoyed that. Mostly because I don't wear pajamas, whatever. All right, back to center. Let's reach back up for the ceiling. Let's return onto those toes, ball of your foot, ball of your feet. I always slept in my underwear, so it never made sense. Because if it was pajama day, I'd just be in my underwear. Silly. Anyhow, that's enough of my tirade. Let's return those heels back down to the mat. Hands back to heart center, and let's do twisting chair pose on the left. So press the right elbow into the left knee. I used to tell stories, but I think at this point, Arisa and Megan have heard all my stories. And I started rehashing my stories. And that's when I should stop telling stories. Anyhow, back to center. Let's reach for the ceiling for a third time as Elizabeth is still fiddling with her keys. Reach for the ceiling, heels off the mat. Okay, reach, like you're reaching for the stars. I was about to say dancing with the stars, but I don't do that. All right, those calves are feeling good. Those feet muscles are feeling good. Maybe you're dancing around. And then 3, 2, 1. Gently lower those heels down. Bring the hands back to center. Settle the breath. All right, let's sit down on the floor, the moment we've been waiting for. The chiller stuff. Probably the moment I've waited for. Yeah, we all know the chair pose, not the chair pose, the table pose. We're doing all the furniture. All right. Once those hands are planted behind you, let's press the hips up towards the ceiling, dropping the head back. Okay, your knees should be tracking over your ankles, shoulders over the wrists. Okay, give me an active posture here. So constantly press your hips up. We feel a nice stretch into the shoulders, down to through your biceps, all while strengthening the glutes and hamstrings. All right, let's lower our bottoms down to the mat, controlled, in a controlled manner. And let's lie down on our backs. You can keep your feet planted on the mat. Let's do bridge next. So let's roll onto the shoulders. Okay, push your hips up towards the ceiling once again. Glutes and your hamstrings should be pushing up. Don't let the knees bow out. Okay, push the floor away evenly with your feet from the ball of your foot down to your heel, and then to the outside of your feet, outside of your foot. I guess it's both, so it'd be feet. Okay, and then on the way down, I want you to control it. So one vertebra at a time. Gently lower yourself back down to the mat. Okay, I'm about halfway. Controlled. You're all the way down. Great. All right, let's get those glutes since we're already in position for thread the needle. So let's keep the left foot planted. Bring the right ankle onto the left knee or left quad. Make a figure 4 with your legs. Okay, let's grab the left shin. Maybe notice the hairs growing back on your legs like mine are. What a thing. All right, let's do our 3 long exhales. Each time breathing and focusing on the right glute. So let's breathe into the nose.
And then breathe out through the mouth, just like we did in the very beginning of today's practice. Long, controlled breath. All right, number 2, let's breathe in. And then long breath out here. Okay, last time, breathe into the nose. Then long breath out. Yeah, feel that right glute stretch. And then letting go of the left shin. Let's plant that right foot down on the mat. Get the left leg into position. Let's stretch out the left glute now. So grabbing the right shin, repeating those 3 breaths. So let's do a deep inhale, followed by a long exhale. Number 2, let's breathe in. Release. All right, last deep breath here. So breathe into the nose. And then out to the mouth. Let's let go of that right shin. Staying on our backs, let's bring both legs up into the air for happy baby. So you can either grab the outside parts of your feet or grab your big toes. But let's pull our knees in towards those underarms, releasing those inner thighs. Okay, once you're done with that, you can rock left to right, right to left. And think about your spine against your mat. Okay, just massaging your spine. All while pulling on those feet, stretching the inner thighs as well. All right, give yourself one last pull on the feet. And then let's drop the legs back down to the mat. Ugh. And let's do a supine twist. So let's start with the right leg today. So pull your right knee in toward your chest. Okay, enjoying this little stretch here. All right. Let's pull the right knee over to the left side of our body. Stretch the right arm out to the right, looking towards the right. Okay, you should feel your spine turning to the right. Oof. And every time you breathe out, hopefully you can release any tension, letting the right hand and the right knee get a little bit closer to the ground. Let's do one deep breath before we go back to center. So breathe in through the nose. And as you breathe out here, really release any tension, getting further into the twist. Okay, let's bring that right leg back over to center. And then let's hug the left knee in towards our chest. Okay, enjoying that little stretch there. Nice. All right, let's pull the left leg over our body towards the right. Left arm is reaching out towards the left, twisting the spine in the opposite direction. Equally as good. Or I should say feels equally as good. Doesn't mean it is equally as good. Ugh. Okay, as always, long breaths out, controlled. See if you can twist a little bit further. Okay, my left knuckles are on the ground, but I can't quite get my left knee down.
Every time I breathe out, it gets a little bit closer. Let's bring that left knee back over our body to center. We're gonna sit on up. We're gonna come into cat cow next. Just continuing for the spine as we do every week. I'm gonna roll my mat about 3 or 4 times. It's a knee support action. All right, so we're on all fours, knees underneath the hips. You can untuck the toes, palms underneath the shoulders. And let's do inhale, bring the head and bottom up, chest is down. And then breathe out, rounding out your back. Okay, inhale, head up. Then exhale, head down. Inhale, head up. Exhale, head back down. Okay, I think that was 3. Inhale, head up. Ooh. Exhale, head down. Push with those palms. Press the back, the spine towards the ceiling. Okay, last cycle here. Inhale, head up. Exhale, head down. Press the back once again towards the ceiling. Okay, and then coming to a neutral cat cow. And then let's just do a couple twists to the left, to the right, loosening up the spine. Oof. All right, let's hop off a rolled up mat. Let's sit back down. We're going to do a hamstring stretch. Okay, single leg hamstring stretch. So I'm going to start with my left leg out in front. Bring my right heel in towards my soft tissue, keeping the back of the left knee on the mat. Arms up top. And then as you breathe out, reach evenly over that left leg towards the left toes or left heel. Again, every time you breathe out, reach a little bit further. Really focusing on stretching the left hamstring. Okay, let's do one more deep breath. Really breathe out, reach. And then you can release the left side. Right leg is out in front. Bring the left heel in. Okay. Remember to flex the foot so your toes are facing the ceiling. Adding the arms up top. And then exhaling over the straight right leg. Okay. Exhaling, getting deeper into the stretch once again. And give yourself one last reach, one last stretch on the right side. Oof. And then release. Okay. Now we're going to do both legs together. Add my block real quick just for see if I can get an extra couple inches on the stretch. So arms up top, toes are facing the ceiling. Breathing out, reaching, reaching, reaching. Okay, keeping the back of the knees on the mat. Ugh. Okay, let's hold it for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that stretch. Let's do another one for our spine, shall we? So let's keep the left leg where it's at. Let's plant the right foot on the outside part of the left knee. Okay, and then turn clockwise, wrapping our left arm around our right knee. You can push into the ground with those right fingertips. I don't know about you, but I also feel this stretch in my right glute while stretching the spine. Ooh. All right, and then let's do one deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, really twist towards the right and see how much further to the right you can look. Adding a little bit of neck stretching. Really feeling the right glute here. Okay, and then we can gently unwind. Ooh. Let's add the right leg out in front. Okay. Now the left foot's planted on the outside part of that right knee. Wrapping our right arm around our left knee. Ugh. Okay, groaning, whatever. I just did it. Really push into the floor with those left fingertips or left palm. Really twist to the left. Can't decide whether this is a better stretch for my left glute or my spine. They both feel great. Ugh. And then let's release. Nice. All right, let's do pigeon pose. So return to a plank position. Might be our last stretch for the day before we do our closing sequence. Let's start in a push-up position. Let's start with the right leg. The right leg forward. Your right shin is 90 degrees of the rest of your body. Untuck the back toes. Settle into position or settle into a comfortable pose that allows you to stretch an indescribable amount of things in the right leg. Ugh. Now, yeah, we're gonna hold it for under 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's plant both palms in front. Okay, push the torso up. Let's reach back with the left arm. Pulling the left heel. Adding the left quad stretch. Oof. And really leaning forward slightly, getting as much out of the left quad as we can. Ugh. Let's hold it for 3, 2, 1. Releasing the left foot. Okay, both palms are planted. Back to plank, and then reach the left leg forward. Untuck the right toes. Oh. And just like the other side, we'll hold it for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Turning to both palms. Let's get that right quad stretched out. And we can release in 3, 2, 1. Let go of that right leg. Let's get off the left. Let's come into our closing sequence. So sit on the heels for a moment. Knees are about as wide as your mat. And then as you exhale, come forward into child's pose. Arms are in front of you. Forearms on the mat. You can rest your forehead gently on the mat. Just settle with your breath. And come forward out of child's pose and rotate onto your back for corpse pose. Ugh. And arms are at your sides. Relax the whole body, top to bottom, head to toe. And close your eyes here. And I want you to do a body check as we do every week and see how you feel. Hopefully a little bit better than when we started an hour ago. And I won't say anything for 60 seconds in 3, 2, 1. That was about 60 seconds. Let's reach the arms overhead. Nice morning stretch. Oof. Oof. And then begin to roll onto your side and rest your head and face right on your hands. Keep a moment for yourself. And whichever arm is on top, put that palm of the mat and push yourself back up. We'll turn into our starting position. Okay. Straightening up the spine. Close your eyes as we do our 3 audible breaths. So let's breathe into the nose and breathe out with some sound. Oh. Next one, let's breathe into the nose and breathe out with some sound. Oh. Last one, let's breathe in through the nose and
and breathe out with some sound. Oh. Hands, heart center. You may repeat after me if you'd like. May you have clear and kind intentions. Let's raise our hands to our foreheads. May you have clear and kind thoughts. Bring our hands to our lips. May you have clear and kind communications. Then turn our hands back to our hearts. And as always, the light in me celebrates and honors the light in you. Namaste, my friends.
Thank you, Joseph. And I hope your bike fall wasn't too bad. And I never tire of your stories.
It was actually the fall was pretty sad because it wasn't so we had to cross a river. River's a strong word. The water was like maybe 6 or 7 inches, right?
Okay.
So we crossed it, no problem. And then on the other side of the bank, it was all dirt, as rivers are. And then there's like a short little dirt pitch to get out back to the pavement. And so I was like, I can probably ride it at this point, just get back onto the pavement. So I was riding and I didn't quite calculate that there was like a rut. And so I wasn't moving very fast.
Oh,
And I kind of just paused in place and then just
oh,
tilted over. And I guess I smacked my pedal or my crank arm hard enough against the ground where one of the bolts came loose. So
oh.
I was fine. Most of the bike's fine. And so as we were continuing the next climb, I noticed that something was loose. And as I checked it, I could tell it was coming off. And so, yeah, I need to replace the crank. But fortunately, my old road bike has effectively the same crank. So it's a straight swap. It was just unfortunate because I was at the northernmost, literally the northernmost point of the loop.
Oh, you're farthest away.
The furthest away, correct. And honest, like I was literally a quarter mile away from where we started turning south. So that's how far north we were. We were just north of Santa Rosa.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
that's where I was.
Oh,
But Elizabeth fortunately was my emergency contact, so she came and got me, and I just sat. I was able to ride back to Jenner on the bottom of the hill, and so it was a nice day. The sun was out, and I just bought a bag of chips at the store and just sat there and ate a bag of chips. So, and
okay.
my friend Adele finished the ride, which is great. That was her longest ride to date, if I'm not mistaken. So she, found a group to ride back with, and stoked for her. So that was
Glad-
my day.
And you're not hurt. Bike parts can be replaced. So,
Bike part can be replaced. Our bodies can kind of be replaced, but yes.
yeah. Okay. Oh, good.
Anyway, that was my story.
Okay. All right. Good.
All righty.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph.
You're welcome. Until next time.
Yes. Until next.
Oh,
All right.
see ya.